Hello, so rigging a quick tip on rigging a arm. By default, like if you want to rig a quickly and dirty, what you are going to do is going to do a bone for the arm and one other for the forearm. And if you want to turn the end, then you will have this kind of deformation around the wrist, which is not what we want to have. So we would like to make some kind of advanced rig so that when you turn the hand, it automatically turns the forearm naturally, which should look something like this. If I grab on this rig by Everfresh Design here, the wrist and make it turn, you see I've got something which is way more natural. So if I go back to my basic rig here and set my values back to 0, what I am going to do is that I am going to add several joints for the forearm. So I'm just going for now to delete my constraints and delete my binding altogether. So I'm going to grab my forearm here and I'm going to add like maybe 3 joints along the forearm. So what I can do is I can just duplicate this one, delete the end, I don't need it, and I can put a number here and move it forward like so. Yes, here will be good because we have a subdivision here, an edge. Another one. What am I doing? Just going to do that. Okay, I'm going to put it here, move it along here, and I think actually this should be good. So I've got my base for arms, so which is at the elbow level. Another one here at 1/3 of the forearm. Then another one at 2/3, and then the end. And what I would like is when this joint rotate, that this joint rotate like 50% of the value of this one, and this one like 25%. And this will give more natural deformation of the forearm while animating. So I'm just going to rename it. Maybe like that, 1, 2, and 3. Then the end of the chain. I can keep my controllers, they are good. And for the end, I am actually going to take a look at my rotation order. I would like to prioritize to put in first the rotation on P, then the rotation on B, which is the blue one, and then maybe the least important one, the rotation on H. So this order has an importance because of gimbal lock, and I'm not going to go and explain what it is here because it is kind of complicated, but you can type it in Google, gimbal lock, and learn what it is. So I'm going to modify my rotation order here, and I would like the first one, as I said, to be this one, which is X, I think. Let me check. It's X. Then the second one, I would like the blue one. So I would like X, Z, and Y, like so. So now I've got X for this one. This one should be second. Z. Okay, so it's good. And so now I'm going to do a bit of Xpresso code. You know what? I'm going to bind it first so that you see what's happening when I'm animating. So I'm going to take all my joints, then my geometry, go to character, bind, and click OK. And if I go to the rigging view, we can see that my first forearm joint is influencing the first part of my member, and so on. So I think it would probably be better to hand paint them to have it properly weighted, but I think it's going to be fine for this tutorial. And so I'm going to make my controllers work. So in order to do that, I'm going to select my arm, my forearm, and my hand here, and I'm going to add rigging constraints. So constraint here, I'm going to put transform, maintain original, and inside the target for the arm, I'm going to put the controller, the forearm, the controller, and for the hand as well. So now if I rotate my hand, you see that I've got pretty much the same deformation as before. So the same problem. So how do I change that? I'm going to create a new null object that I'm going to name Xpresso, and I'm going to add an Xpresso tag to it. So right click, programming tag, Xpresso. It opens a new window, which is the nodal coding system inside of Cinema 4D, which is named Xpresso. And I'm going to put my, I guess my hand control inside it. And my hand control is going to drive the rotation of my joints here. So I'm going to put that back to 0 here. And if we remember, the rotation that I am interested in is the X1, so the right one here. So inside of Xpresso, when we have a node, the information going out of your node is on the right side. So you read Xpresso from the right to the left like a book. So I'm going to click on the red button here, and I'm going to go to take the coordinates, transform, rotation X. And I'm going to grab, for instance, forearm 3 here. And on my forearms, I'm going, I think, to put the same rotation order that I put here. So it's X, Z, Y, and same for the hand, probably. So object coordinates and X, Z, Y, and I'm going to grab everything and freeze everything back to 0. Okay, so I'm good. So for arm 3, which is my joint here, controlling this part of the arm, I'm going to click on the blue side of the box, which is the data that is going in. So I want to feed this information into that node. So I click here, coordinate, transform, rotation X. And if I plug it and I rotate, you can see that is not at all what I want to do. Why? What the fuck? Okay, so I made a mistake, I'm sorry. So it's an unedited tutorial. But the rotation order for the joints are not the same as the rotation order for my controller. As you can see here, it is the red one, so X, and here it's the blue one, so I don't remember which one is it. It's Z. So it should be Z, then X, then Y. So Z, X, Y, like so. If you can have the same rotation order for your joints and for your controller, it's better if you're doing a real rig. So don't do like I just did. It's not very good to do that. So I'm going to delete this port here, which was X, and I want to rotate it on Z. So coordinates, transform, rotation, Z, plug it. So now if I turn it, you see my forearm is turning, but it's turning the same amount that my hand, which is not what I want. I would like an amount that is decreasing from bone to bone. So I'm just going to use, I can use either a range mapper or a math node. And I think I'm going to use a math node because it's, I think maybe a bit easier to understand. So I'm just going to type in math here. And by default, it's the add operation. But if I click on my node, you can see here in the attributes that I have the attributes of my node. By default, it is add, and I'm going to set it to divide. So I'm going to take my rotation X, plug it into the first input, and plug the output to my forearm. And it's yellow, it means it's a mistake, because as you can see here, I'm dividing by 0. And so you can't divide by 0, so it's a bug, but I'm going to divide by 2, for instance. And now you can see that it is rotating a bit less, but not so much less. So I'm going to divide like by 4 maybe. Yeah, maybe 3, I don't know. Let's say 3, and I'm going to do the same for my forearm 2 here. So I'm going to grab the node, basic coordinates, transform, rotation Z. I'm going to copy paste my node, and I'm going to divide it by 6. So now I've got a better deformation of my arm when I rotate my hand. And if you do some white painting, it will be better. You won't have this weird deformation here. But we can see that it is working properly. Yes, just checking. Okay, so I can just grab my controller, set it back to 0. And now you have an advanced arm control for your rig, which is going to provide better deformation for your animation. Okay, bye!